G'day all, welcome to Frostbite's G.I. Joe Repro interview tonight. And this is one of the interviews that I am doing for the Toys R Oz group on Facebook, which Bevan Davey magnificently leads. So tonight we're chatting with Matty. Matty, how are you, mate?
Good, how are we going, folks?
So Matty, I only met recently through an online auction, but he sold me some pretty amazing stuff, which I'm just very happy with. And I think when you can pick stuff like that up, the collector's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I've got the rest of the other 7 or so that I've got at the moment just sitting behind me here.
I did laugh when I bought that from you online, and you said, "Oh, how many scare glows have you got, Lenny?" And I said, "Oh, that's it, bro. That one."
Yeah,
I didn't realize you were going to have a whole bunch there.
Yeah, I do, and I've got a friend over in the US who I've got a bunch of stuff sent to his house. I'm just waiting for him to ship it. I think there's another 3 or 4 maybe scare glows hiding in there.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Okay, well let's start. Like, where do you reside now?
I'm in Australia, Coffs Harbour, on the mid-north coast of Australia.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's a nice part of the world.
It is. We're very lucky to live here. Very, very. Like, it's winter and it's 24 degrees, so it's not too bad.
And is that where you grew up?
Oh, no, I grew up up and down the east coast of Australia. I lived in West Australia, Queensland for a while, but I've been here for long enough now to be a local, so I've been here for quite a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where did you? Because the important times for us is around that 10 years old mark, I believe. Yeah. So where was that for you?
Well, I grew up I was down on the far south coast of New South Wales, so about 4.5 hours south of Sydney. So that's where I spent a lot of my youth with my toys and stuff, and then we moved to Western Australia as well, and that's where a big part of my collecting toys as a kid came into it, because every second week Mum used to take us down and we'd use our pocket money to buy a new toy. It was a real event for the family sort of thing. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And prior to that, when I was we moved to West Australia when I was about 5, and my brother and I had a whole collection of MOTU and stuff. My brother had all Skeletor and the bad guys. I had He-Man and the good guys. Because Mum, we're moving to West Australia, we actually had my brother and I decided that we'd do this massive garage sale, and we sold all our toys to help Mum raise a bit of money to move to West Australia. So and then we moved over, and every sort of second week, or maybe every third week even, we get a little bit of pocket money, and we lived in Subiaco, and we'd head into Perth. This big toy shop. I can still remember the front of it. I can't remember exactly where it was, but I can still remember the front of the shop, and going in every couple of weeks to buy a new toy. And at that stage, it was Master of the Universe and She-Ra, my 2 go-to toys at the time.
You wouldn't believe the wave of emotion I just felt when you said, "Oh, you pooled together with your brother and sold your toys," and at that point I went, and then you said, "Oh," and then we help Mum pay for the trip to Perth, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's fine."
Yeah. Yeah. So very lucky, and even Transformers were a big thing too back then. I still remember again living in when we lived in West Australia. I snuck into Mum's room just for my brother's birthday, and I found all the toys that he had hidden. And he had the original Megatron in like gun form sort of thing. And it took me about 3 days. I could only keep my mouth shut for about 3 days, so I told him because I was so excited. Sort of ruined his birthday, but he was stoked to know, I guess.
He still got it anyway.
Yeah, he still got it anyway. So yeah.
So I think, like I've mentioned it a couple of times in my videos before, like I'm a Joe guy, a G.I. Joe guy.
Yeah.
Do remember having Master of the Universe when I was a kid, but I wasn't showered in toys. Like, it'd generally be maybe once a fortnight, I think it was. Like, I'd get something. Yeah. What was your childhood like?
We were very lucky in that sense. Like, we were very poor growing up, but Mum sort of always made up for that with letting us earn pocket money and stuff like that. So we could buy toys, that little bit of joy. We actually had a big GI Joe phase as well. We moved around a lot as kids, and we'd moved to Brisbane. And there was sort of the shop across the road sold. I think Joe's back then were like $2 or $3, like so cheap. It was awesome. We had a massive big collection of GI Joes, and we lived in a big old Queensland. We had the big wooden stairs, and under the stairs was just sort of open space under the house. And we built all these like whole GI Joe army. It was crazy. Like we would have so many Joes. I can't even remember how many. But then the death in the family, so we all went back down the coast. And then Mum decided to stay down there, and we never went back. So, the house in Queensland is still there. Go look under your veranda, 102 Bow Desert Road. If it's still there, go check out your house. There's probably hundreds of GI Joes buried in the mud.
Oh shit! Don't say that. I feel like driving there now.
So many times as an adult, I've been in the Brisbane area, and I'm like, it'd just be good to go see. But I think it'd also be sad if it wasn't there. So I'll just, if someone else finds it, that's good for them.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
So, like you mentioned, the Joes, the Transformers, the Motu. What else were you hitting as a kid, or that was it?
No, we were pretty much everything. Like, we had the Thundercats. Went through all the stages. Had Thundercats, the Silverhawks. But I guess whatever cartoon was on at the time, that's what toys were buying. And even the little battle monster ones. I can't remember what they were called. Like Battle Beasts.
The Battle Beasts.
Yeah, they were cool. I loved those as well. And I guess in small towns, but the toy shop would sort of buy a whole bunch of stuff, and they'd have that for a year till they sell it all, and then so you just that would be your toys for the year, sort of thing, and then they bring something new. But definitely for me, Motu was definitely my favorite. Growing up, and my go-to as a collector now, sort of thing. So
I think you might have just started a new saying there, mate. Motu is my go-to. I think you should get shirts made up.
Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea.
I think we might be onto something.
Yeah, we might be onto something here. TM folks can't take that one.
That's it. So, did you notice any difference, like in toy shops, from when you were living in Queensland to when you moved over to Perth?
I definitely, as a kid, maybe because I remember because that was what I was buying at the time, but I remember when we lived in Queensland, which would have been between 87 and 89. It was just seemed to be everything with GI Joes. I just remember everything we bought was GI Joe related, GI Joes. And when we lived in Perth or in around Perth area, it was sort of 84 to 86, and it was She-Ra and Master of the Universe there, and prior to that, I was pretty young, so I just remember having all the He-Man stuff every Christmas. And, my brother would always have the Scully and the crew. I'd always have He-Man and the good guys. So it was pretty cool. We both had Grayskull. He had Snake Mountain. Mum did a really good job at making sure that, we didn't miss out on the little things in life. So we were really lucky in that sense.
Mate, if you reckon you were growing up poor, I can guarantee you were growing up all right.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, 100%. And we had a great life. We spent more time, if we weren't at home, we're at the beach surfing or, living life. So it was pretty awesome.
No, that's great, mate. And so now you're growing up, you're a big boy and you're collecting just Motu. Is that right?
Yes, at the moment, one addiction at a time.
Okay.
I have picked up a few Joes along the way and a few of my favourite Transformers, but I only really got back into collecting at the start of this year. I came across on Facebook like an online auction page. And I was, oh, cool. And I thought, I might watch some of these auctions and I'll buy a few of the 5 Motus that I really loved as a kid, and that was going to be it. And now I have more figures than I'd like to admit in a public forum. And got a little bit carried away, but now I have just so many, and I've been army building and, collecting all the ones from a kid. So at the moment I've got a bit of a, look, two favourite of the kid were Teela and Panther. Like as a kid, when most kids had like safety blankets and stuff like that, I used to always carry around. I had a Teela doll. We don't have many photos from little kids, but 80% of the photos from me up to the age of about 5 or 6. I've got a Tila in one hand, so Mum used to have spares in case I lost it. So it's always been one of my favourite toys growing up, and Panther as well, because he's just cool as hell. Like, I just loved him. And I didn't get him. My brother got him, and I got Battle Cat, and I wasn't able to play a Panther. He's just so cool. Like, I've done a lot of collecting of Panthers and things. Yeah, it's been what, 7 months now that I've been getting back into it, and I have a rather large collection. And I sort of, in doing that, I've just sort of, found the joy in what joy it brings me. So, I've got stuff. And I did my auction the other week I can't keep it all for myself. So I did an auction on Sprinkle King page on Facebook. And yeah, just sort of sharing some of the love, because a lot of the stuff I have, as you saw, your scare guy is pretty amazing. Like, I've been lucky enough to collect some really good quality stuff. So being able to pass on that to other people, it's awesome.
Yeah, that was like I was pretty set on getting that scare glow when I saw it in the photo.
Yeah,
because finding complete, great condition scare glows, they're just rare.
Yeah, they're not easy to come by. Trust me.
No. So when I saw like your pic saying that you had one, I was like, "That's mine. I'm getting that one." Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you got it too, because it's gone to a good home. So yeah, it's awesome.
Mate, it's and that's what I usually like. I'll say to the boys when usually when I'm in the Misfits auctions, like I'll buy something, and a couple of the boys know that, like, if I'm after something hard, it's usually because I don't have it and I just want one, and then I'll be right out of your hair, bro. So there's a couple of boys in the group that know that, and there's been times where they'll get to a certain point of bidding and they go, "Oh, Lenny, do you have this?" I go, "No." They go, "Sweet, it's all yours, bro. Go."
No, I'm in the same boat. There's a lot of times I've bidding on stuff, and they're like, "Come on, mate, I know you've got 7 of those." I'm like, "All right, fair enough. You can have this one, buddy."
Yeah. I do feel like that sometimes. Like, the person bidding is like a massive Motu or Transformers or Joe collector.
Yeah.
And they've probably got 20 of these things, and you just want one. Just give me one, bro.
I really do enjoy the whole little sort of Australian Facebook auction scene, because there's the 3 main ones that I sort of cruise, as you've mentioned. One of them, and everyone's sort of I've become really good friends with a lot of people now. Weird enough, I never thought I'd have internet friends, but I talk to more of these guys throughout the week than I do people I know in real life. Like, they've actually become really good friends, just through the collective love of toys and collecting sort of thing. And going on, like, Sprinkle King's usually on a Friday night, the one I did my auction on, and most Friday nights it's like just going and hanging out with your mates. Like, half the people there having beers and chatting and joking. It's just a really good community. It's actually a lot of fun. Like, even when I don't buy stuff, I just go and hang out for a couple of hours. Like,
so I love tuning in for Marty's auctions on a Friday night, because I know I'm going to laugh. Like, I know I'm going to laugh.
Oh, yeah.
And usually it's because he said something or he's showing something on the screen that makes me glad that I haven't Chromecasted it to the TV that my wife is watching.
Be careful when you open the boxes too.
Yeah, well, that night he was opening the cards, and I'm like, my God, Marty, like, I could have had this up on the screen.
Yeah, I know what you mean that, yeah.
So did you mention you got family, like wife and kids?
I have an amazing partner. She's my world, and she doesn't mind me collecting stuff, because it just brings me a lot of joy. So I'm very lucky in that sense. Like, yeah.
Because that's one of the things I usually like to ask about is if I realize that someone's got a partner, I always like to say, "Oh, what does your partner think about your collection?" Because I'll guaranteed always get mixed results.
Yeah, well, definitely. I do know that I'm in our spare room / office at the moment, and just off camera there is boxes and boxes of Motu. So I have to buy some shelves and condense it all down and make it all pretty, because it had spilt. The spare room's more of a Motu warehouse, which I've got to fix.
What you need, you might need to make some type of cardboard montage for the door. So it's like a grey skull entrance.
That wouldn't be bad. I do actually. One sec. I do have this as a doormat at the office.
Yeah, that's sweet, mate.
Yeah, I made one of the guys from the met on the online auctions that I've become good friends with sent me that one. But it's cool. That's my little office door mat. So
it was funny. You can sort of see like the grey skull up here.
Yeah.
I bought it off one of Greenie's auctions, and it's actually an Australian-made one, which that's what I loved about it. Got it for a solid price, and it's got no stickers in it. And Chrissy B one night in one of her auctions said, I've got the sticker sheet for Grayskull. And I went, sweet, I'll take it. And I've gotten the sticker sheet, and I was like, man, what's this? It's like someone vomited colors. What is this? And I looked it up, and it was the dungeon sticker.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually realize or know the story behind all that. It's amazing to read.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I love the I don't know if anyone's seen it. If you haven't, check out the Toys That Made Us. It gives you and watch the Motu episode. Really good little insight into how all this stuff was produced, and like this story behind is actually really cool because it almost didn't make it to where it is today, sort of thing. Like almost didn't make it out of the drawing room. So it's pretty cool that it's actually where it is today. Like.
And so does you said your missus is really good about your collection. Does she collect anything?
Well, she has collected a little bit of Studio Ghibli stuff along the way. Just when we're watching auctions together, she'll grab a few Studio Ghibli things. Yeah, that's about it so far.
So she kind of sort of understands the weird collecting thing.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. We've got like a little. I don't know if you can quite see it here. It's like a little. What do they call it? I can't think now. My brain. Little Giltest, a little claw machine that we bought. It's just a little mini one.
Yeah, right.
With random toys. It's just good fun to play with every now and then. So got a very eclectic sort of collection of stuff. So.
And you mentioned you're sort of just holding back at the moment on collecting something else. And I know you've been, accidentally touching Joe's. That's not in a weird sense either. What are you close to getting right now? Or just Motu?
I bought a whole lot of Estrella Motu, which came in a lot with a whole bunch of Estrella Joe stuff as well. So I got a whole bunch of vehicles and some figures as well. I don't think the figures are Estrella, but all the vehicles are Estrella. But it came in this massive box, and they didn't pack it well, so it's now in different components that I have to go back and piece together, and that's like a project on its own sort of thing. So I have to get that one day. One of the cool things, hold on.
Yeah.
One of the cool things that did come in that lot was these bad boys. I don't know if you can see them properly. It's like little displays.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, they were pretty cool. Like they came in little and Baroness. As you can see, probably guys. And then they just sort of this is the Brazilian Estrella sort of stuff, like displays. Everyone knows this bad boy.
What's on the back of them? Are they just?
It's just blank on the back. They're just displays for like toy shops and stuff. So, and they did my favorite Storm Shadow. I love Storm Shadow. Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes, and Jinx were my favorite as kids. Then all the Viper Troopers and all that sort of stuff as well. So at the moment, I've got I've got a whole bunch of Joes stashed away in a box. But I got like sort of just a couple of ones that I really loved as a kid. They were the first. They popped up at auction. I was like, I'll just grab him while I'm here, and slowing myself down just because I get a little bit too obsessive with it all. And once I start collecting something, then it's game over. So I'll get my Motu fix out of the way, and then I'll move on to Joe's.
So the smartest thing, or the smartest piece of advice I've ever received for toy collecting was from Greenie, and he told me at the start of when I was collecting Joes and Star Wars and Voltron. So I start, you can't help yourself.
Yeah.
But he said to me, just like, don't go nuts. Like, shit's always out there. You're always going to be able to buy stuff, but get yourself, 1 or 2 figures, say a fortnight, and then they don't have to be awesome, just within your price range, and then keep going like that. And then when one might pop up that's better than the one you got, sell that one, buy that one, and then just keep doing that. And then all of a sudden you've got this amazing collection.
Yeah. No, I thought I went the exact opposite way. I bought everything that came up because I have one of them. Well, that one's better than the one I bought last week, and just now I have. We did a quiet stock count a couple of months ago. It was over 150 figures, and I've added a lot since then. And I can't. The stuff I've got in the US, because I had friends that said, "Look, if you find any cool deals in the US, send them to my house, and he'll ship them over in one box just to save me a whole ton on shipping." And I thought, "Cool, sounds like a great idea." Fast forward 3 months later, and he's got so much stuff over there that I think he's dreading ever offering it to me, because he's probably got a full day's work just to box everything to send it over for me. So yeah.
And what are they, like mystery boxes?
I know, just all Motu stuff, like just tons and tons of Motu. And every time I found something cool, I found a better one. I was like, I'll get that one from him. I'll ship it to him. And then, they sort of end up being a massive big pile that might take a couple of boxes to get over here now. So,
wow.
Yeah.
And postage is, for some reason, just gone balls expensive. From
postage is a killer, man. Like the only reason I bought all the stuff that I did from America was because I could get it sent to my friend's house and get it put in. Like, if you got each piece individually sent, sometimes it's more for the shipping than it is for the figure. So
yeah.
It will be a little chunk of change to get it all over in one go, but overall I'll save like so much money rather than having stuff shipped individually. But that was the key anyway.
Maybe you just need to start doing more auctions, mate.
Well, I will be from sort of here on in, probably once a month, on Marty's page on Sprinkle King, and like everything as you saw. Like, one thing I won't do, because I do have, I have got some bum deals along the way. Like, I got stuff sent over, and I go, oh, well, that wasn't quite what it looked like in the photos. But they're not figures that I'll sell. I'm only going to sell like the top quality stuff, because got to have people. If you like me and you love it for collecting, you want to get some nice decent stuff and as much complete stuff as I can, sort of thing as well. So
I think you'll be surprised. People don't mind a beater.
Yeah. Well, that's what Marty said as well. So I'll have to have a good think about it, because not everyone wants top of the line. Marty said the same thing. Look, not everyone's after top of the line. Some people may just want to have something in there. $20-$30 for something in their collection is pretty easy going. So I was like, what, I will have to, but I'll have to go through and sort of go, right, this is be a $5, $10. This sort of, then when I put them up, go, hey guys, and like as you saw at the auction, I was over vigilant, pointed out everything. It says flaws, any marks, whatever there was, so everyone knew exactly what they were getting. So they could get what they paid for, sort of thing.
Yeah, I interestingly, like, Joe's are the only things that I've tried to get the best I can.
Yeah.
And everything else, I've just gone, you know what? Like, I don't care. I actually like buying toys that have been played with.
Yeah. It has that bit of character, a bit of feel to them.
Yeah. Like this was some kid's toy 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything else that I've collected, I've actually just bought as beaters, and just, if I found a good one, just replaced it as I go.
Yeah. But also, I've been collecting heaps of random merchandise from around the world as well, and mini comics. I just love the mini comics, and I honestly couldn't tell you. I've just got boxes full of mini comics now, so I'll have to go through one day and just work out exactly how much of everything I have and what I want to keep. And then I can say, hey guys, these are the things that we, can just share it a bit, because, no point me having 10 of the same comic and stuff like that. So yeah.
Well, like how you sort of thought about it with the Scare Glow, it's going to a good home. Like you sell
Yeah.
all this stuff, and you're actually helping people get their collections together.
Yeah.
So
Well, same as the Panthers I sold, because I'm very big on my Panthers, and I have scoured the globe finding some of the best Panthers you'll ever come across. And I brought one up for auction. And Carl, the guy that bought it, he'd messaged me earlier. He said, "Oh, you know, you got." So I hadn't put in the photos. He's like, "Oh, I heard a bit of a story. You might be putting up one of your Panthers." And I was like, "Well, there will be a special lot in there that is cat shaped and purple." And you know, we had a bit of a chat about it. And he's really wanted a really good one for a long time, and he won it. And I was really happy with that because it's going to go to someone that appreciates it just as much as I do. And I think for yourself as well, you know, for anyone that collects, knowing that someone's going to value it as much as you do and get as much joy from it as you do, just makes it so much more worthwhile. It's not about making money, because you know we don't make money from it, but it's just, you know, other people get to have that experience and live their childhood a bit, and just, you know, having stuff in your collection, it's just awesome. It's an awesome feeling.
well, certainly, like I was only showing someone the other night that someone had come over for drinks, and I'm like, "Look what I got," and I told them how much it was worth, and they're like, "Holy shit, dude!" I'm like, "Yeah, but look at it, it's amazing."
And that's it. Yeah, and I've early in the piece, I paid a lot more for some of my scare glows than the one you got. So you did well there. Like I've definitely paid a little bit, but you know, then again, it's what you get from it. The money doesn't sort of matter too much. You know, as long as you're covering rent.
No, that's right. It's you know, you often see it in the toy groups. You got the auctioneers chasing people to make payments.
Yeah.
That's like when you messaged me the invoice, and I was like, "Yeah, mate, there it is. Take it."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because I've done these auctions a couple of times before, and when you're chasing dudes like a week and a half later, it just makes me think, you know, it's all good to have these toys from our childhood, but if you can't afford to pay, then you know you got to look after priorities.
Yeah. 100%. You know, yeah. And, from my point of view, like a lot of the guys that do auctions, there is a lot of time spent. Like I'm lucky, I have a secret power. Suffer from the old insomnias. So I have extra hours where I've gone to sleep. So I've hyper focused over the last 6 months on, you know, finding deals on MOTU across the world. But there is so much involved in finding these products, communicating. Like there's a lot to doing, like finding stuff to bring to sell to people. So it's quite a lot of work. You know, everyone goes, "Oh, I must have made heaps of that." But if you take the time it's taken to find those products, get them to your house, you know, clean them, it's a fair bit of work. But you're not going to find anyone out there that's doing it unless they love it. So, you know, that's the best bit about it, I guess.
I did love, there was a point, it was probably about a year ago, where there was one or two people that had bought up during Shano's and Chrissy B's auctions that, you know, something they were selling was available for a little bit cheaper on eBay.
Yeah.
But they'd said that in the auction. And I just loved Shano's response. And it was along the lines of, you know, if it's cheaper on eBay, mate. Like,
yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
because it's a lot of work for guys and girls to run auctions.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I just in my little auction, it was only 4 hours, and some of these guys go for 6-7 hours when they do their auction. They go, not like the amount of sort of take away the time it took me to, you know, source the product, I guess, if you're looking from a business side of thing, then, you know, get the stock in, and then go through, categorize everything. You know, the hard thing is matching all the accessories to make sure they're the right to all that sort of stuff. Like, there's a lot of work involved in it. So it's not like we're just getting toys, you know, cheap and just going, "Here, pay me exponential amounts for this toy." Like, there's a lot more to it than just that. Even what got me the most was I'd never actually, you know, I'd sold a few things to friends and shipped and posted them out. But after the auction last week, I had something like 74 things to send out. And the amount of evenings I spent packing and wrapping and racing to the post office between work and stuff, that actually was a lot more work than I realised. So there's that side of things too. Like,
it's painful, mate.
Yeah.
Like it's like eating KFC. Like you have KFC, and just before you eat the KFC, like, man, I love KFC. And then you eat it and you're like, "Oh God."
Yeah,
what have I done? And then a month later, you're like,
oh, I'll do that
KFC.
again. 100%, man. Yeah.
And it's exactly the same. If anyone's out there that hasn't run an auction before and you're thinking of running an auction, just think of that KFC thing because it's exactly how it is.
Yeah.
But they're great,
100%.
great to do.
Yeah, it is. And like, excuse me, because I've got to know a lot of the people, through the other auctions throughout the year. It was just like having a bunch of, friends and associates coming and hanging out for a couple of hours and having a chat. And I just saw a lot of jokes, a lot of innuendo and jokes going on throughout the whole thing. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, especially with Marty's auction. As you know, there's a lot of stuff going on there that it's just funny. Like, it's just a good way to spend an evening. Like, it's good fun stuff. So always fun.
Well, as you said, like, and just the people you meet in the toy community, you've actually got a lot more in common with some people that you can meet at work or in real
100%.
life.
Yeah. Oh,
so it's quite easy.
Sorry, mate, you go.
It's quite easy to establish these relationships with people.
Yeah, 100%. Like, through a lot of the people I've got to know this year, that all big Motu fans like myself, we've often joked about how, at the end of every episode of Motu, there was lesson of today's story, and there was always something uplifting and about helping other people and being kind and being a good person. All these really healthy sort of moral stories, and we didn't realize until we grew up and start looking back at those things, just how much of an impact they had in who we became when we grew up, sort of thing. Because we've all become very compassionate, very caring people. Putting people for ourselves. It was really weird. I was like, holy, they really got us with that one, man. It didn't sort of click to all having a chat one day, and I'm like, wow, that sunk in as a kid. So I think it was a good thing.
Some people would call it brainwashing, but for us, it was just a public service announcement. A good
exactly
old PSA.
Right. Yeah, it's sort of made us sort of set us up with a good moral sort of baseline, I guess. Like,
and it was funny too because it wasn't just in Motu. Like, G.I. Joe was really big for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and they're always talking about helping other people and putting other people first, and all these good little lessons learned. Our little mind just soaked that up, and
it's the kids' version of "Don't be a douche."
100%.
So, show me some figures, mate. What's your top three?
My top three. Well, as I said before, Teal, again, just one of my favourite, but the favourite figures that I have at the moment are the Estrella version of Teal. So I don't know if you guys out there that Motu have ever, got into the variants. It's a big rabbit hole, but this is I don't know how well you can see, guys. Just tell me how that is.
That's perfect, mate.
Yeah, but like you can just see that the difference in the gold and the colours. And like if you look sort of body positive wise, Brazil were well and surely above the day. They sort of made her look like Brazilian ladies, so she's a lot different to the others. But just the colours, like the gold itself, I'll show you one of the other ones in comparison. So we've got the Hong Kong one next to, but this is I don't know, try and get him there. You can see just the body shape's different. The gold and the colours are just so different. Like in the Australia one, they're just such a more vibrant colour. So that's definitely hands down. My top in the second would be. I have to move a few things around here. As I said before, my Panthers are definitely. It's real. I've got a little. How's that, guys? Is that working? Yeah, this is the Argentina Top Toys Panther. Here's another just absolutely mint condition. Like this one, I was lucky enough. I found it on Marketplace over in Argentina and bought off a dude over there off Marketplace. And then this one, I don't know. Again, if you're into your variants and stuff, the French stuff is one of my favorite. Like their figures are so much. I know they're just cooler. The paint's always cool. They all look a bit different. But again, just the flock on this guy is
that's amazing.
Just mint. And I have. I'll show you this one while we're talking Panther. This is the Estrella version, the Brazilian version. The difference with this guy, I'll come a bit closer. I don't think you can see it. He's actually got a red plastic instead of the green or black underneath it.
Right.
And he's really cool because all these little scrumps, bumps, and scrapes look like battle scars. So
Yeah.
he just looks extra cool for the panther. So I love that one.
Hmm.
And then I've got so many panthers, it's a bit ridiculous. So I won't keep going with them. And then I guess everyone's a lot of people's favourite, like myself, called Scareglow. This is the Italian Scareglow.
How do
Italian
you know
variant
the
one.
difference?
There's a lot of little features just in the sort of the colours, but generally just with the coos and stuff on the back. They are hard to tell Scareglows because they're all manufactured differently. But this one I got from a guy who's like one of Australia's sort of top variant dealers, so I'm comfortable with him being the. Again, it's got to do with the knuckles. Some of the Italian ones have bigger arms, and some have bigger feet. But from a novice point of view, they look pretty much the same. So that's the trickiest thing when it comes to Scareglow variants. I like the other ones, like the Estrella. Quite easy. They'll have Estrella written on the back. That's the second wave. The first lot didn't have any coos; they just had a number on the back of their head, which
Okay.
I do have a few Estrella. This is the Estrella He-Man, folks. So again, we're just going on variant. Sorry, but as you can see, there's no coo on his lower back. I think that's it. Can you see it there? But there's actually, you probably can't see this, but just on the back of his head, there's a really small serial number. That shows you the first wave variant of the Estrella ones, the Brazilian ones. But I thought I got a little bit carried away and started collecting the different types of variants, different types of countries. So it's a big, deep rabbit hole. So,
that's dangerous.
I think everyone knows. For those who know Motu, you got your dark face, dark skin green. Yeah, I've got a couple of them. I've got a whole bunch of stuff I line up over the back. We've got the French Mossman, Argentinian Spike-Or, French Merman, and again, this is for the true Motu fans out there know their variants. This isn't a mock, don't worry. It's just one of the protective cases you can buy from eBay. Otherwise, it'd be worth more than my house. But he's actually got the blue gun variant web store, which is really hard to come by. And I'm just lucky enough to have two. So,
what's the go with just as a general question? What's the go with the green halberds versus the glow halberds on Scareglow?
Okay, so a lot as you probably know yourself, a lot about Motu history is lost. So because it was they were just mass producing this stuff in all different countries around the world, and they were from different parts of the world. And some, the original French ones you can buy, and they'll have Taiwan coos on them, sort of thing. But there'll be differences in the armor and the plastic they're made with, and the color that would negate that they're a French one. But as far as I'm aware, and I'm only novice in this sort of stuff, as far as I'm aware, it was just the country they were producing. So mostly the glow-in-the-dark halberds, as far as I'm aware, I could be wrong, they were produced in European countries, whereas the green ones were produced in European countries and US and stuff. So
right, okay.
But yeah, every time I try to get to the bottom of something, I've been very lucky to just through the community of Motu and stuff. Just got to know some of the really good guys. Some of the guys that most of the stuff you read online, these guys wrote it. They've done the research, they've been involved, and I've been lucky enough to ask them, direct questions about sort of things when they pop up and try and learn, which has been very valuable. But the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know, because it was sort of they were a bit wild west. I was just like, right, this country's producing them, so we'll send over some of them might have armor or spare parts that were from Taiwan and sent over that country at the start of manufacturing. So some of those bits will be Frankenstein. They'll have the French might have arms or armor that was originally built in Taiwan, put on a figure that was produced in France. And so there's so many little things to try and, unless it's got France written on every piece, there's still a lot out there that have different coos on them, but it was manufactured. Like this one, for example, this Skeletor, it's a bad boy. He was, he's got all the Taiwan coup, but he was actually produced. I'm getting a bit closer for you. You can sort of see his arm is a bit different, a bit lighter in colour than the standard Skeletor. But he was actually produced in Europe, but with all the molds from Taiwan. So he's like the European release, but he still holds all the Taiwan coups because that's the plates and molds they had. But it's just made with different plastics, so that's how you can tell. So the plastic's actually really bendy as part of it, and a lot different in colour. So if I had a Skeletor around here, so the difference in the colour of his armour sort of thing. That's that's your regular type. Yeah. Oh, that's actually that's your regular one, and that's your European release one. So completely different blues. So yeah, that's all those tricky little finer points can help you work out where they're from, sort of thing.
And so quite regularly, there's a guy that pops up on the Australian Motu page, and he's like selling knockoffs direct from Mexico or something.
Yep.
What's the go with all that?
Well, it's sort of one of those things. There's a lot of people that collect the knockoffs. There's heaps of people that love the knockoff. Some of the most expensive knockoffs you'll ever come across were made in Yugoslavia, and they are like some of them are the worst toys you've ever looked at in your life. The worst colours, the worst plastics, but because they're rare, they have that collectability about them. And some of the Yugoslavian ones I've seen, like Motu ones, like there's a range of Yugoslavian ones where Tila has blue armor and like blue shield, blue staff, all that sort of thing, blue paint on her arm, and it looks so cool. But there's a handful of those in the world, which makes them very rare, so highly collectible. Right. I do have a few bootleg He-Man and stuff, just because, yeah, they're a bit harder to come by. But I think now though these days, people are just sort of revamping the bootleg. So if it's a original bootleg from the 80s and stuff, it has that value. But if they're just sort of, I think a lot of people are starting to mass produce them again to try and flip them as quick as they can, which they sort of lose that value for, sort of thing. But it's like everything. The rarer something is, the more collectible it is to us crazy people.
That's what it felt like. Like every time I see his ad, I just thought, are you just making these and just selling them?
Yeah, 100%. Like I've bought some stuff from overseas that people tell you go up a good face sort of thing that it's vintage sort of thing, and get it, and it's quite obviously a reproduction. It's like, well, good thing I didn't pay big bucks for it. It still looks cool, but yeah, it's obviously not vintage sort of thing. So it's just like, I guess anything out there, if there's money to be made, there's always someone that's going to try and take advantage of people. So
bastards.
Yeah, I know, it's just not cool. Ruins the fun.
Oh. And I know Marty's quite a big collector, I think, of just all the odd shit, like clocks and rubbers, and like, do you collect that stuff?
I do, actually. I have bear with me for 1 second. On the box I've got my thing on, but I do have another box here somewhere. Just recently got these bad boys. They're all I'll take this one out. Still wrapped up. I haven't even unwrapped them, but again, all the merch stuff, like anything. I love all the merch stuff. I have a whole bunch of random merchandise, but this got some of the rubbers, but still mock on card with not even punch these ones. I got to pick up a few sets of those as well. So if you keep your eye at the auction, they probably will pop up.
Little hint there.
Little hint there. They are really hard to find. Like I've paid pretty big bucks just for the loose ones that have been used for a few years from when I was kids that have been sitting in boxes. But to find them, mint on card and unpunched even, was really cool. Like it's one of the things about this that I love. It's just as exciting, like trying to find stuff, and when you come across something, that's half the fun. Like and then getting it into your collection. So I think I've got waiting for me in the US at the moment. I've got a Leo Teela, which probably Motu folks know how hard they are to come by. That's pretty cool. I can't wait to get hold of that. And I've also got a Top Toys TLO waiting over there for me. What else have I got? A few other random sort of variants that I've got over there as well too. That once they come over here, I'll be pretty stoked. But and all those things, because all the for everyone that knows Motu, all your Indian stuff, or Leo, the brand I'm made by, that stuff is crazy expensive. Like even a beat up Leo He-Man's $2,000, and it's crazy. Like if you had a mint, if you had one mint in packet or mint on card Leo He-Man, it'd be worth more than I can imagine. Like you're worth so much money. Like, and because they're rare, like it's when they made them in India, and they're also the ones in India because they they didn't have the same manufacturing practices, so they'd have to use whatever plastic they could each time they had a batch. But every single batch had a different color in the plastic, a different texture to the plastic, and they're just amazing. The very lots of them just look so cool.
That's unreal.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just, again, because they're rare, like, they're worth more, so.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. Well, I think we'll draw down there. And have you got any words for the general public?
Just enjoy it. Like, have fun with it, guys. It is a lot of fun. I know for myself, I'll buy some stuff and I might hang on to it for a little while, and then I'll find something cooler and I'll pass on to the next person so they can enjoy it as well. And treat everyone with respect. We're all just here living life, living the dream. But just enjoy it, and if you see something out there you like, and go for it.
And speaking of which, have you got a date for your next auction?
I don't have a day, guys. We're just trying to work it all out. But am I allowed to do a plug?
Oh, of course you are.
Oh, cool, awesome. Check out Sprinkle King Toys on Facebook. Private group, so you just have to search. It'll pop up Sprinkle King Toys, and join in, guys. Marty that runs it has the best array of stuff every week, and it's a shit ton of fun. It's a lot of fun, and I'll be doing on average once a month, like just a pure Motu auction sort of thing too. So Marty's always got Motu, but once a month I'll be running a big Motu auction, and everything else under the sun, Marty will have it. He has some of the various wildest collections out there. So tune in, guys. Jump on the page, like it, join, and get involved.
And if people are after any like special stuff or stuff in particular, can they contact you through the Sprinkle Kings group? Yeah,
hit me up for sure. Like, not a problem. Just I'm an admin on there at the moment, so if there's anything you guys are after specifically, just send me a message. And if I don't have it, I've got some really good contacts around the world now, so I can probably find it for you.
Yeah, great.
Cool.
All right. Well, Matty, thanks so much for taking the time. And I can tell you, if you're watching this now, this interview was not easy to organise. We had to organise me with family commitments and work commitments, and this guy with his family and work commitments, and it was unreal.
Yeah. I run my own little company, so having time is hard to come by sometimes. But like everyone's in the same boat. But we made it work, man. So, and anytime you want to do it again, let me know, and I'll bring out some new toys to show off. Well, maybe we can hook something up before you do your next auction. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I can. Yeah, sounds like plan, man. I can run through people, let them know it's coming, get them to join in. The more people there, the more fun it is. Yeah, I love it. All right, mate. Well, thank you so much for attending, and if you're watching this, thank you so much for watching. Please go and join the Toys R Us toy group on Facebook. It's excellent, run by an excellent guy. Then skip over to Sprinkle King Toys on Facebook and realize if you don't like swear words, please don't join. And then make sure you sub to myself on Facey, Insta, and YouTube. That would be great. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next video. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon, man. Bye.